Starseeds, Reptilians, and DNA, Unveiling Reality.
You have your own experiences and inklings and memories and rememberings about humanity, about yourself, about your life, about who you really are, and about what is happening on the planet with this kind of explosion of consciousness. You know, look at yoga, for example. It's a good reference point, how it is just mushroomed. And, you know, the question is, are you practicing yoga? You know, and if you're not, why not, right? That kind of level of conversation. It's so popular. This kind of body, mind, spirit alignment. And also working with the Kundalini, right? Which is another huge mushrooming phenomenon that is happening, this kind of Kundalini activation. I'm in Bali here, and there are multiple Kundalini activation trainings happening, and people fly in from all over the world to have their Kundalini activated and train in activation to then help activate others. I have friends who've been doing this and have gone back to home country to share this. And that's a whole rabbit hole in itself. There are some who are kind of against the Kundalini activation process and all of that because it's a new phenomenon, whereas yoga's been going for thousands and thousands of years, and actually perhaps, you know, Tai Chi, Qigong and all of that, they are actually a more grounded way of spiritual work and activating Kundalini. So, but that's another conversation. Back to Starseeds. If you feel that you are a Starseed, if you have memory, I would love to know. Please share in the comments. If you have a knowing and awareness within you. I've made other videos about this. I made one last week about Starseeds, and I've got quite a few shorts out there as well. And I will make more. But yeah, so if you want to check that video out, maybe I'll have it linked here. Have a look. And there are other videos, obviously, that you can watch from other people as well. I was 18 when I did a Starseed meditation, and I had this name come to me of this place that I'm from as a Starseed, and I had no idea about the constellations and anything, and never heard of it. I mean, the internet really wasn't a thing back then. And yeah, turns out this name of this place, Lyra, is a real place and a real constellation, and actually a lot of people are Lyran Starseeds. And it's actually kind of fundamental and intrinsic to the birth of humanity, that human beings are highly influenced by Lyra, and that the human being template of being a human has come through Lyra, that the Lyrans may have actually seeded the planet with the human race, also with originally, but also with help from, you know, other races, other star families, the Syrians, the Pleiadians, etc. And of course, then there's the nefarious agenda and the nefarious influence of kind of like negatively aligned ETs, the Anunnaki, etc. And dare I mention other beings like the Reptilians, and they're not all bad, of course, but that influence is definitely has been on the planet. And you know, just look at the heads of the pharaohs, like Akhenaten, etc. They have a completely different head shape to normal humans. So, you know, and there are actually mummies in Egypt that are on display in museums where you can see this elongated head, and the skull size is much larger than a human head. So even you can't explain that by, you know, the skull being bound when the person is a child. because you're not going to get an increased size and capacity. You're just going to get a different shape of head. So what's going on there, guys? What's going on there? Is that ET genetics? And I believe that is. And this is also one of the things that we're experiencing, is this kind of disclosure and revelation of information, revelation of the truth of the earth, and also that our DNA as human beings has been tinkered with multiple times, and there's influence from different groups, different races, star races, etc. And yes, and perhaps there is a race, or there are races, let's say, who have been influencing humanity in a controlling, negative way, that don't want you to know this information, right? They don't want you to believe and think that they're there, right? Because like a parasite doesn't want you to know that it's there, because otherwise, if you know that the parasite is there, then the game is up. You want to get rid of the parasite. You take the antiparasitic drugs, right? So, if something is kind of controlling you and using you and feeding you, well, you want to know, feeding off you, you want to know about it and get rid of it, right? Because you want to be free and sovereign. And so that, again, that's another rabbit hole, and that's another conversation for another time, of course. I didn't expect to go into this here, but here we are. I think it's an important conversation in general about extraterrestrial life,